We're all human. At least, I'm assuming all of you watching this video are human, and we all make mistakes. Except, I tend to make more mistakes than the average Minecraft player. So today what I thought I'd do is take you through 50 of the silliest ones that I seem to make pretty quite often. Breaking an ender chest without using a silk touch pickaxe. As someone who now stores pretty much all of their important items inside an ender chest, this one is particularly egregious. Heading off on a proper Minecraft adventure, you're going to be traversing all sorts of terrain, travelling thousands upon thousands of blocks, and around about 20 minutes into the journey, you realise, oh, you've only brought about 7 bits of food with you. This is even worse in the nether, because there's no way that you can kill off these guys, you're just going to starve to death. So you've just been at AFK overnight, loading up all of your farms, getting tons upon tons of items, and because you're not a complete moron, you've taken off your armour and you've put all your tools inside a chest just to keep them safe. Then you jump off your base and forget that actually you haven't re-equipped your elytra. And the same sort of situation often occurs when I jump off the top of my base and then realise that actually I probably should have checked the durability of my elytra. Yeah, that would have been wise. Anyway, that's enough of not flying. How about flying too much? I often find that I activate my flight duration 3 rockets in far too small spaces, and then you end up with situations like this happening, which are very, very terrifying. I'm nearly done with the elytra based comments, but one other thing that I often find myself doing is flying down staircases that I really shouldn't fly down. For example, this one. This one has claimed me a good number of times. One thing that I just recently discovered, and almost to my death, is that if you have a pillar of blocks and you have a bunch of arrows in them, you have to be very careful as you make your way down, because you can occasionally be hit by your own arrows. This almost killed me the other day. You've never been able to place water in the nether, yet recently in a Hermitcraft episode, I completely forgot about that and spent a long time discussing how I was going to create an item transportation system with sorting systems that involved water streams. Using lava as decoration in highly flammable builds, such as wooden houses. I mean, this doesn't even really need mentioning, we've all done it. And I think we can all agree it's really stupid. Accidentally holding shift when trying to place water into a cauldron. Now this may not sound like a big deal, but I often use cauldrons inside my redstone circuits, and it can create very big messes. We've actually gotten pretty lucky here. Surrounding my bed with glass, or other objects that I'm not allowed to respawn on. So when I die, I get a little message that says, your home bed was missing or obstructed, and I spawn absolutely miles away. Making doors that don't have pulse extenders, or at least don't use wooden buttons, so every single time I try to go through the door, it doesn't give me enough time. Please, if you're making doors like this, just stop playing Minecraft. It's the most frustrating thing on the planet. Okay, that might have been a little bit harsh. Just use wooden buttons, please, so that I can get into your base. Unless you don't want me in your base, in which case that's fine. Just do whatever you want. Not checking the durability of my pickaxe before a mining session. Now this is frustrating beforehand because I get to the place where I want to mine and then I realise, oh, I've got no durability in my pickaxe, but it's also very depressing during the mining session because often I discover that I haven't got much durability left in my pickaxe because it suddenly just disappears. Yes, that's always very sad. Thinking to yourself, right, tonight is the night that I have to go AFK. I need to make sure that I get the items from my farms, I need them for tomorrow's project, going AFK, and then turning off your computer. Very guilty of this one. Speaking of going AFK, I used to do it with all of my precious items on me, but then one time, a baby slime managed to get into this room over here while I was AFK fishing. It then pushed me off in this direction where I was within range of the guardians. They shot me to death and I lost all of my good stuff. I mean, what are the chances of that happening? That's totally ridiculous. Forgetting your torches when you're doing large-scale underwater projects so you have no way of breathing. You have to keep popping up to the surface. Now, of course, this is all going to change with the aquatic update that's on the way. Using Frostwalker. I just think it's a rubbish enchantment. I mean, why on earth would you want this? And it completely ruins item transportation water streams and often updates water that you don't want it to update, and then half the time you end up falling through your own ice anyway. I mean, it's just terrible. As mentioned earlier on, I store all of my important items on the Hermitcraft server inside shulker boxes inside ender chests. But often, I take those shulker boxes out of the ender chest, place them around somewhere, and then forget to put them back in, which means that I can't access them anywhere else in the world. There's meant to be a whole bunch more than this. Now, I'm a bit of an old school Minecraft player, and I remember the days when you didn't need lapis to do enchanting sessions. However, it's not those days anymore, and I really need to get it into my head that I need to bring this stuff if I want to enchant anything, because I can't remember the last time that I actually brought it with me on the first try. I never use potions in Minecraft. I can't remember the last time that I actually brewed up a set of potions for me to use personally. And they're fantastic. I mean, look, I'm standing in this lava lake, and I'm absolutely fine. This makes the nether a lot less scary. One thing that I'm personally very guilty of is heading off on a mining session with an inventory that looks a little bit like this. I get all the way down there, I set up the beacon, I do everything, and then I realise that actually I've got a very full inventory and have to travel back to my base to empty it all out. Enchanting tools and repairing tools and putting books together to create new enchantments to enchant that tool in an insane way and doing it in the wrong order. I'm not 100% certain what the order's meant to be, but I know that I do it wrong. Accidentally igniting your own TNT when you're working on a trap. I wish I could say that I didn't do this, but there's been a number of times in trap videos where I destroy the entire creation. Staying on the topic of TNT, how about designing an entire build based around the block? This was my design for my TNT shop for Hermitcraft Season 4 in the shopping district, and I constructed it and then was later informed by Exumavoid that if a creeper exploded near this, or if a skeleton with a flame bow managed to hit it, it would ignite the entire thing, destroying the whole shopping district. Yeah, don't build anything like this if you want to stay friends with the other people on the server. Using a texture pack that looks like this. Now, I understand, okay, I understand that maybe Minecraft isn't the best looking game in the world when it comes to graphics, but that's kind of the point. What we don't need is crazy realistic textures. I mean, I appreciate the fact that this sort of thing takes a long time to make, and I'm sure someone has spent hours creating these textures, but it hurts my head. It does hurt my head. That being said though, I like the idea of the mountains on the landscape. That's really cool. Oh no! I kind of like that. Oh, how frustrating. Anyway, after that slightly depressing revelation, what about logging into a new Minecraft world in a very old version of Minecraft? Suddenly, lots of things get removed. I mean, here, I don't think we've got slime blocks. Yeah, they've popped out as locked chests. We definitely don't have observers. They're not a thing either. Oh man, this has become a mess. When that sort of thing happens, you're really going to wish that you had a backup. Another thing that I often wish that I'd backed up is TNT creations before I test them out. There used to be a redstone build here. I have no idea what it is because, as you can see, it doesn't exist anymore. Building a TNT-based trap when there's lots of animals around. I mean, you do the maths. Who's this gonna blow up? Your friend or an innocent bystanding sheep? Yeah, I think I know what the answer is gonna be. Don't move any closer. Please, I know that you're kind of looking at it. Rain looks disgusting, it sounds disgusting, and it makes the sky go disgusting as well. I refuse to have it when I'm recording a redstone video, but one thing that often happens is I put one too many zeros on the end of my weather command. I mean, it happens all the time. Building a farm that has far too many mobs in it to the point where it actually becomes a hazard for both the mobs and also any player that falls into it. I mean, can you believe that? I've just been killed by chickens. Chickens! Have you seen what a chicken looks like? Strip mining in the nether is stupid for a number of reasons. Number one is if you travel fast enough and you're sprinting with your efficiency 5 pickaxe, you're probably going to fall down a hole or into some lava, but also more importantly, you can get far more quartz just by roaming around on the surface and picking up all of the bits that you can already see. Oh my word. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that you have to be careful of. Lava is fast in the nether. Bringing the absolute perfect amount of building supplies so that you can build your beacon pyramid, while forgetting the fact that you also need one extra piece of iron, diamond, gold, or emerald to actually place it inside the beacon. Of course you haven't remembered that, and of course your base is 5,000 blocks away. Another problem that I often have with beacons, especially in Hermitcraft Season 4 when I had a massive flying base, was to build said beacons under said massive flying base. Obviously the beacon beam can't then go up to the sky, and that means that you don't get any of the power-ups. That's always annoying. When you've built the entire thing and you're stood there not understanding why it works, then you've realised that you've put it under an iron farm. Yeah, never feels good. Speaking of iron farms, accidentally creating infinite water streams is something that you have to be very careful of here. If you misplaced this water source block and accidentally put it down there, then it fills the entire thing with water. But I guess that's nowhere near as bad as the time that I accidentally broke this part of my base, creating infinite water sources all the way around the bottom. Now that really wasn't fun. But I can promise you, this guy is having a lot less fun. I have no clue how long he's been sat here, but I told him to sit down clearly in this spot a very long time ago, and then completely forgot about him. Now, forgetting about your own dog is a very, very stupid mistake to make, so I guess let's put it right. You can come with me, friend. Trying to kill magma creams with zombie pigmen around. Recipe for disaster. I mean, the fact that you have those group attacks where it hits multiple things within the area, it's just not good. It's not good. Not good. Not good. I wish I was better at Minecraft sometimes. I think that's enough survival mode for one day. How about we move over to creative mode? And one of the things that really annoys me is when you shift click items in creative mode. I always do it in survival to move things around in my inventory. In creative, they just get deleted. Another thing that often happens is I'm in the search area of the creative mode inventory and I press E to get out of it, and then I end up writing something a little bit like this as I try my best to move forward and navigate my player while I'm still in the search area. How would you even say that? Mining out a block that I'm currently standing on. Believe it or not, I actually do this way more than you would think. I'm kind of surprised I actually survived that. Updating blocks that you really, really shouldn't update. Gravel in the nether definitely springs to mind. If we break any of these, I mean, that's good night. You're just a goner. Don't touch overhanging gravel in the nether. It's probably going to end badly. Now this one is a very important one, so I'm going to get very, very close to the camera. Now if you're building a redstone contraption and you're following a tutorial that was released in 2012 or 2013, you have to accept the fact that there's a slight chance that it's not going to work anymore. Now, if you do build it, and you do decide to take that risk, and it still doesn't work, then don't go over to that YouTuber's comment section and call them all sorts of horrible names just because you're too daft to realise that maybe redstone might have changed a little bit in that time. Newsflash, it has. Lots of old redstone contraptions have broken. Please. I sometimes go back to the comment sections of my old redstone tutorials and I could just put my head through my desk, through the floor and into the wall beneath me because it just makes me want to cry. And not because it makes me upset or anything like that. The comments don't get to me. They're just so ridiculous that you think to yourself, what on earth are you doing? How do people like you exist? Anyway, moving on from that one. Using one coal block to smelt just one item. Yeah, that's a really silly one. Yeah, really silly. Just stop putting comments on my old redstone videos. I mean, sorry, that came out of nowhere. Let's move on again. Building a base that is heavily focused on redstone in the center of the ocean. I mean, what a silly, silly thing to do. What kind of silly person would do something ridiculous like that? Every single time water flows in and destroys one of my redstone contraptions, I seriously begin to rethink some of my life choices. Grossly underestimating the size and scale of a project that you want to take on. I mean, come on, how many times have you done this? You think to yourself, oh, that will only take a couple hours, let's do it. 30 hours later, and you're still working on it. I'm sure we've all had some of those. Accidentally shift-clicking when you're using this area here. I mean, I only wanted one of those. How am I... What sort of use am I going to have for that? I guess that works. But on the topic of the new crafting book, not having it in showing craftable mode. Otherwise, you're just going to be searching through a bunch of items that you're not able to craft. I mean, why would I want to look at a block of diamonds? Look at me. All I've got is a bunch of sticks and a bunch of wood. What use is that? I'm not going to be able to craft those in a million years. That being said, one thing that does happen to me when it comes to the crafting book is I stand here thinking, this thing's broken. I've got plenty of wood on me. Why can't I make a set of stairs or a slab? And then I realise that actually I'm not looking at a crafting table. Accidentally nudging a minecart that you wanted to get in and watching it travel off into the distance without you in it. Capturing loads and loads of mobs, using minecarts, transporting them around, getting them into the correct locations, only to forget to rename them and have them despawn. This happened a lot during the aquarium project. Tons of guardians were moved over, placed inside their areas, but they didn't have their lovely name tags. That's a big issue. And for the final mistake that I'm going to feature in today's video, it would be to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You see, I've been reading through my comment section, and according to some people, I make terrible videos. It would be a real mistake to subscribe to me on YouTube, but here comes the logic. You can learn from your mistakes. And learning's great. I mean, people love learning, so you should subscribe and maybe you'll learn a thing or two. That doesn't make any sense, does it? I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video.